Hi everybody again. As you know, my name is Abby Schulte and this is my vlog about my trip in Eastern Europe, about the culture and trauma of the area and how they deal with it through communication and photography. So since my last video, we've been busy as always in Lithuania. We have done a walking tour of both the big and small, or large and small Jewish ghettos. We went to the Greenhouse Holocaust Museum, and then we met with the Veterans Society of the Soviet War in Afghanistan, which personally I knew absolutely nothing about, so it was really interesting both to learn about it and then to listen to their stories and their opinions about it. We also did a reading by Marianne Hirsch in research about post memory, which we have all had, especially my generation with 9/11, but we never really knew what it was called. So, post memory is the traumatizing the second generation of people. So the first generation is the people who occurred the original trauma, but then the second generation is traumatized through the photographs and also the stories of the original traumatized population. And it just talked about how post memory is different because it may not, we never had the event happen to us, but the first generation often filters what the first generation learns about the traumatizing, because they don't want them to be as traumatized as they were, but also that the photos, or they don't want to talk about it, and that photos are actually usually more authentic and really helpful to the for post memory because they're less filtered, and we experience the trauma through these photographs because it feels like we're actually there. We can see what actually happened. But these photographs can also re-traumatize the original population, so it's really tricky. Um, but I thought that post memory seems to be the goal of the Greenhouse Museum. So the Greenhouse Museum is exactly what it is. It's a greenhouse, but the Holocaust victims themselves that still live here in Lithuania are the ones who put it together, and it's absolutely gorgeous, but it's really, really sad. And I think it was interesting that the Holocaust survivors themselves put it together. So that's what makes me think they want it to be a post memory for those who come. They want it to feel authentic. They want us to look at these photographs and be able to walk through their shoes. Vanya is a Holocaust survivor of the Jewish ghetto here, and she helped put it together, and she actually still works there. She wasn't there because she broke her leg, um, but she goes through and makes sure people know the real story. She wants them to experience exactly what she experienced. And then we met with the Soviet war vets. My war vet was named Peter, and he was extremely kind and friendly. He has kids our age, so he kind of laughed at us at some of the questions we would ask. And I think just because we were so young, he pictured us as his kids. Um, but he wasn't bitter about the war at all, which I was really shocked about because a lot of these vets deal with PTSD. And he was actually so happy that he never dealt with really too many psychological issues, or at least he told us he didn't deal with too many psychological issues after the war. He said that he leaned on his family extremely heavily to get past those memories. Um, I asked him a lot of questions about the pictures that he either took or that he sees, to see what post memory he thought of post memory. And I asked him if looking at the pictures around him, because the association's walls are covered with pictures, and he said that the photos traumatized him. Well, he didn't say traumatized, but were hard to look at first, and I believe it's because they started to re-traumatize him and bring back those memories. But now he's so used to them that they don't bother him. And I asked him um, if he talked to his kids about his memories, so that they can experience what he experienced, and he said no. One of his kids asked one time, and they actually asked his wife. They never in person asked him, and he seemed relieved about that. I don't think he was too apt to talk about it to his children because he doesn't want them traumatized again. Um, and in general, just how he talks about the war is, we asked him how he usually talks about it. He's like, I only talk about the good memories because that's what I want to remember. And even in society, he says he likes plays more than movies because he doesn't like the trauma of those movies, how violent they are. So you can just tell that he walks around trying not to be traumatized again by post memory and bringing back those memories for him. But he was very proud of the photographs of him and of his area, which makes me think that he wants people to have a post memory of the event, but he can't bring himself to talk about it because he doesn't want to be re traumatized. Well, that's all I have to talk about for this time. So until next time, see ya.